The glow of your monitor illuminates the room, casting long, dancing shadows against the walls. You stare at the Wyndra app icon, its surface pulsing with a strange, violet light that seems to defy the pixels on your screen. You lean forward, your fingers hovering over the mouse. Start the adventure. As the words leave your lips, the air in the study turns frigid. The hum of the computer rises to an agonizing, metallic shriek. Suddenly, the monitor screen liquefies, spilling iridescent ink across your desk. The room begins to warp. Bookshelves groan as they stretch toward the ceiling, and the floor beneath you drops away into a swirling vortex of starlight and broken script. You reach out to steady yourself, but your hand passes through the solid wood of your desk as if it were nothing more than mist. With a final, violent pull, the study dissolves entirely, and you are dragged headlong into the light. You tumble onto a floor of polished obsidian. The air here smells of ozone and ancient parchment. Before you, a vast, circular chamber opens up the codex. Two figures stand waiting. A man with a regal, imposing bearing, and a woman with an air of calculated mystery.
The outsider has finally arrived. The cycle begins anew.
Let us hope this one has the strength to mend what is broken.
The reality of your surroundings remains surreal, the cold floor biting into your skin. Hilarious and Mara watch you, their expressions unreadable as the codex hums around you. The obsidian floor beneath your bare feet feels impossibly cold, humming with a vibration that travels straight up your spine. You stand in the center of a vast, circular rotunda, its domed ceiling lost in a swirling nebula of ink and starlight. The walls are lined with countless doors of every imaginable material: carved oak, pulsing iron, shimmering glass, and shifting mist. You pull your ornate robes tighter, the silk brushing against your skin as you survey the two figures standing before you. The king's gaze is heavy, carrying the weight of an era, while Mara's amber eyes track your every movement with the precision of a predator assessing a new arrival.
Where am I? And what is this place?
King Hilarious steps forward, his robes rippling like liquid silver. He gestures to the infinite doors that circle the chamber, the movement of his arm leaving faint trails of light in the stagnant air.
You stand in the Codex, the heart of all narrative existence. It is the archive of every story ever told, and those that were abandoned before their final page could be turned. You were not chosen by accident, Wyndra. You were pulled here because the ink is running dry, and the stories themselves are beginning to rot.
Mara shifts, her hand resting habitually on the hilt at her hip, her expression hardening.
The rot is called corruption. It devours meaning and leaves behind only the shell of a world. If it reaches the Codex, there will be no more stories, no more reality, not here, and certainly not back where you came from.
The enormity of their claim settles over you, as heavy as the stone floor beneath your feet. You look at the nearest door, a simple wooden frame that seems to be weeping black, viscous liquid. The morning sun crests over the eastern ridge, casting long, stark shadows across the rocky expanse of your new home. The air is crisp, carrying the faint, metallic scent of the distant river. Your two companions stand at your side, their gazes sweeping over the desolate tract as the weight of your frontier charter finally settles into reality.
It's quiet, Wyndra. Almost too quiet. But the earth here, it's hungry for work. We can make something beautiful out of this stone.
I have already scouted the path to the river. The banks are steep, but stable enough for water collection. If we're building, the northern woodland offers timber, but we need to mark the boundaries before we clear a single branch.
The land stretches out before you, raw and waiting. Your first steps will define the character of this haven. The trek to the water's edge is treacherous, the ground crumbling beneath your boots as you descend the embankment. Ilara moves with the grace of a mountain cat, her boots finding purchase on loose shale that would send a less attentive soul sliding into the drink. Down here, the world changes. The biting wind of the ridge is dampened by the thick, lush reeds that line the banks, and the air turns cool and heavy with the smell of silt and wet stone. The river itself is a powerful, churning ribbon of gray-green glacial runoff. It is far more formidable than it appeared from the high ground. Ilara stops at a natural eddy, where the water slows just enough to be manageable. She crouches, dipping a hand into the frigid flow, her expression focused as she tests the current.
The flow is steady, and the basin here is deep enough to prevent us from drawing up too much sediment. If we clear these rocks, we can build a primitive pier. It will save us the strain of hauling buckets up the slope every morning.
A pier would be a kindness to our backs, Ilara. But let us ensure the path leading up to it is reinforced first.
We cannot afford an injury this early in our labor.
The water is cold and clear, a vital lifeline for your growing settlement, but the work to make it accessible is just beginning. The morning sun filters through the front window of the amber vial, casting warm, amber light across the glass vials that line your shelves. The air smells faintly of crushed sage and distilled lavender, a scent that has defined your life in Tamble for years. You stand behind the chestnut counter, tracing the grain of the wood, waiting for the day's first ripple of activity to touch your threshold. The shop is quiet, the market outside still waking up to the rhythms of the morning. You have your inventory prepared and your records in order, but the shop's pulse is dictated by the first customer to push through the heavy oak door. You take a breath, feeling the familiar comfort of your own space. You pull the leather-bound ledger from beneath the counter, the parchment cool and crisp under your fingertips. The ink entries from the past week are orderly, a testament to your careful management of the amber vial. You scan the list, your eyes lingering on the depleted stock of distilled sage and the dwindling supply of glass vials. A restocking order to the True Hand Guild is long overdue. The shop door swings open, the brass bell chiming a bright, clear note that cuts through the morning quiet. A tall, broad-shouldered man steps inside, his cloak dusted with the fine grit of the market road. He pauses, looking around with a gaze that is at once appreciative and searching.
Morning to you. I was told this was the place for specialized remedies. I've a shoulder that complains every time the weather shifts, and I'm hoping you might have something to ease the ache.
You close the ledger, the sound soft against the wood, and look up to meet the man's steady gaze.
You've come to the right place. Let me take a look at what we have in stock, and we can find something to see you through the change in seasons.
Torin leans against the counter, waiting for your assessment. His presence feels grounded, a stark contrast to the quiet morning you had anticipated.